Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, is the road improvement project in jeopardy? We have the answer. A verdict could come tomorrow in the Keith Carey murder trial. And it was all about the sciences today at Garvin Tynes Primary School. Stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight starts right now.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight National. I'm Opal Rhodes, sitting in for Keishla Adderley, who's on special assignment. Topping news tonight is the New Providence Infrastructural Improvement Project in jeopardy. And are the monies running out? Well, we put those questions to State Finance Minister Shivargo Lang after allegations surfaced that the project could stall because funds were drying up. Shanique Miller has the answers in this report.
I really regret that this kind of alarm has been raised about a non-issue.
In fact, State Finance Minister Shivargo Lang says the panic is unwarranted. Why? For one, the report being referred to is really a project profile and a good sign that the Inter-American Development Bank is considering the additional $65 million loan the government proposes to borrow. Once the IDB's evaluation committee deems a loan application viable and valid, they will and are required 5 days afterwards to publish what is called a project profile. It's like if you go to the banker to get a loan for a house, and the loan officer gives the managers a summary of the loan application. That's what this project profile represents, and it describes what it is you need the loan for. As for the $13 million the IDB is providing, Lang says it's standard and the money will be applied retroactively. The retroactive application has to be made so as to ensure that any bills submitted in that period are able to be covered. One of the things that's true about the bills for this project is that when they are submitted, there's almost a 90-day period, 3 months afterwards, when the payments are made for them. It is no secret the New Providence Infrastructural Improvement Project is over schedule and over budget. In fact, the project, once pegged at $120 million, has been increased to $206 million once the government gets the additional $65 million loan from the IDB. But here are the reasons for the delays and additional expenses. You will remember the project started out as the New Providence Road Improvement Project and eventually expanded to fix plaguing utility issues, many of them unforeseen. We also found that as we went underground, there were a number of utility requirements on the part of a number of our corporations that had to be affected. Now, you can decide to do these later and come back and dig up the roads to do it, or you do it now as you are doing the roads. So it's really basically an investment being brought forward as opposed to some extraordinary cost you would not have had to bear. And there were some delays in the project that also meant that you're going to incur more manpower costs on the part of the contract, etc., and so they will bill you for those. The hike in the overall cost is also compounded by high fuel costs. But Lang insists it didn't have to enter the $200 million mark, that is, if the roadworks were done as planned in 2002. This project has had significant cost increases because it was delayed from 2002. While Lang does not expect any challenges in attaining the additional $65 million, he says the project, which is estimated to be around 75% finished, is moving substantially toward completion. Shanique Miller, ZNS News.
In other news this evening, the live video link used yesterday in the retrial of the man accused of killing businessman Keith Carey was historic, as it marked the first time the country is now using new legal reforms to dispense justice. Today, Attorney General the Honorable John Delaney said the historic step was made possible due to last November's amendments to the Evidence Act. It was all a part of the anti-crime package of bills passed in Parliament. Mr. Delaney said the television link evidence will assist in speeding up trials, reduce costs, facilitate witness participation and protection while reducing associated risk.
the use of live television link to receive evidence of persons who are unable to be physically present at court proceedings. Importantly, an objective of the amendment was to provide for remand hearings to take place by live television link to reduce or to eliminate the need for detainees on remand to be transported from the remand facility at Her Majesty's Prison, Fox Hill, to downtown Nassau Magistrates Court for hearings. The admissibility of video recordings of testimony from child witnesses or other vulnerable persons, such as the elderly, under certain circumstances.
The Attorney General then outlined some of the benefits realized from the use of live television link evidence in Bahamian trials.
Evidence that might not otherwise be available due to inability to travel is now available to the court. Also, a vulnerable witness who, for reasons related to security concerns, young age, or of advanced age, or some other form of vulnerability, may be permitted to give evidence remotely or even by video from a place other than the courtroom. Tremendous financial cost savings are now possible, whether it is the avoidance of costs of having to transport remanded detainees or persons having to travel from overseas locations to the court, which annually may result in savings of hundreds of thousands of dollars during hundreds of more than $100,000.
Meantime, the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Tommy Turnquist, talked of the government's latest anti-crime initiatives.
We take this anti-crime initiative very seriously, and we are determined to continue to act decisively by continuing to increase the number of officers patrolling our streets, by reinforcing our recently passed tougher laws working within the criminal justice system, by continuing to equip law enforcement agencies with adequate tools in the fight against crime, by ongoing recruitment and training programs for our police officers, by encouraging more community involvement by facilitating dialogue and partnerships, bringing together civic organizations, neighborhood associations, the business community, and public agencies to table solutions and suggest the best ways to prevent and report crime. We are also reinforcing youth development programs to channel our young people in positive directions. Very soon, as a result of what we've seen as the collaboration between drugs and crime, the correlation between drugs and crime, we expect to launch our anti-drug strategy for the years 2012-2016 by the end of this month.
From the court, the jury is expected to deliver a verdict tomorrow in the trial of Jamal Glinton, who is accused of the shooting death of businessman Keith Carey. The incident took place 6 years ago on the grounds of Bank of the Bahamas on Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway. After 3 weeks of testimony, the prosecution closed its case today. And during the trial, Glinton did not take the stand, nor did he call any witnesses in his defense. Justice Roy Jones is expected to sum up the case tomorrow and hand it over to the jury. Well, authorities releasing the name of the country's 25th murder victim. He is 29-year-old Shaquito Murphy of St. John's Avenue. Police say Murphy was standing outside a home in Pinewood Gardens last evening when he was shot multiple times. Right now, they're not sure of a motive and they're still seeking the public's help. If you can assist, please call the police at 919-911 or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. And still to come in the Bahamas tonight, it's Kidney Awareness Month, and we'll tell you what you can do to protect those vital organs. Stay with us.